In the process of Mets pitching struggling to get length, they have been forced up to call up some arms from AAA with a taxed bullpen. Some arms were as pedestrian as expected, but there have been some standouts so far. First was waiver claim from last year, Reed Garrett, 6.2 scoreless innings with 3 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, as the 32-year-old Garrett has displayed a brand new deep pitching arsenal so far this year with a high 90s fastball, hard-cutting slider, high-spin sweeper, screwball-style splitter, and a sinker with plus run. We also got the major league debut of 27-year-old reliever Daniel Nunez in Atlanta. The big right-hander went 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 0 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Nunez's fastball sat at 96 to 97 and topped 99 miles an hour, paired with a high-spin slurve-style slider and a high 90s changeup. And finally, there was the major league debut of 29-year-old lefty reliever Tyler Jay. But through 2 appearances, Jay has pitched 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Jay has a low 90s fastball that tops 93 miles an hour, but he prioritizes a low 90s plus run sinker with a gyro style cutter and a sweeping action slider with RPMs that can reach 2,300. Even with an overhauled workload, the Mets bullpen has been great, ranking 8th in earned run average, 2nd in fielding independent pitching, 7th in strikeout rate, 2nd in home runs per 9, and 2nd in wins above replacement. Although Jay and Nunez were both optioned to AAA shortly after, the Mets pitching depth under David Stearns will continue to be a point of emphasis as time goes on this year and into the future.
Daniel Nunez, kind of nasty, throwing gas. I would be lying if I said I watched every single pitch he threw, but I remember him at spring training. He was nasty. I kind of like this guy. He's got a good arsenal, a lot of vertical movement on the slider, maybe a little bit too much. He's got electric stuff, and Nunez, I'm sure we'll see him again. He pitched really well. Reed might be a legitimate high leverage arm. We were up 4 runs in game 1 against the Royals. I think the first move that Carlos Mendoza made that I was really confident in, I saw, okay, this is the move a good manager would make. He trusts his reliever, who is pitching really well, in a spot against a right-handed hitter after Diekman allowed the runner on second and 2 outs in the 6th. I feel like too many times Showalter, the relievers would just be kept in to finish innings. Felt like a really new school kind of move. I'm happy that they trusted Reed Garrett in that spot. Reed Garrett has been a diamond in the rough. He has been incredible. And I think it might be for real. Tyler Jay, just what a story. I'm not sure how much he'll be coming up in the future. He is a low 90s guy. He did pretty good yesterday as well, making sure the lead didn't get too far away. It's just a phenomenal story. I'm really happy for him. And then there's more relievers in AAA. We're going to see Grant Hartwig. He's got a nasty sinker. I wonder what kinds of adjustments he's made. There's Shintaro Fujinami, who I would like to say today walked 3 batters and gave up 3 runs. I'm not sure he'll even pitch for the Mets this year. It would be awesome if he could maybe make some adjustments and get his command on point, because we know how electric he can be. We all want to see Nate Lavender for sure. But, in general, I want to see as many of these AAA guys as possible. It's not a perfect bullpen. I've been vocal of this. I think I am pretty concerned about Jorge Lopez. He was throwing 91 sinkers yesterday. He's been getting hit pretty hard. Last year, he still had the stuff, but the command was all over the place. And this year, kind of seems maybe a bit of a flip. He has been effective, but there's things to definitely monitor. It felt like a lot of times under the Showalter and Epler regime, we would stick with relievers. Buck likes his Tommy Hunters. He likes his guys, especially with the new manager. It just seems like we're open to a lot more opportunities to see new guys pitch.
Another thought that you can put out there, Sean Reed Foley just made
Yes.
a minor league rehab today, I believe, was it with Brooklyn? Was it with Low A? Something like that. That's another guy that was considered for the opening day roster. So there's a strong possibility that if he gets back here, if Sean Reed Foley continues to stay healthy, or he can gain a little bit of consistency. You have other, AAA fringe guys that have been very impressive. Hopefully Grant Hartwig can stop hitting batters, and then he would be a fantastic contact manager, because he's got some great ground ball ball stuff. And usually the Mets would call these guys up just for a body and they would suck and then they'd send them right back down. And, they basically just bleed through injuries. They've needed these guys to come through for them because their bullpen has been completely taxed so far earlier into the season. And again, you don't know if it's Stearns. You don't know if it's the Mets not giving these guys a chance when they had other management, but it was very, very encouraging to see. Nate Lavender, I hope to see him eventually. I think that he'll be one of the next guys that does get selected if we do have a taxed bullpen at the rate that we're going. Under Stearns, you do feel a little bit more of a comfort with pitching. Like, even though there are some bumps in the road, like, we've had some walk issues, some volume issues, it does seem like there's a platform, there's a plan, there's a foundation. They're not just calling up guys to call up bodies, guys who have an arm and have a heartbeat. That seemed like the big way that the Mets would decide it in the past. With Stern, he's hands-on when he needs to, and he's had to be very hands-on with the pitching recently. And I've also just loved this no nonsense as to where if you hurt the team once or you hurt the team twice, you're out of here. We don't ride it along with you because you're out of minor league options or something. He just lets you go, trades your ass for cash, get the hell out of here. He's just a very adaptable type of executive, and that's what I really liked. He's very quick on his feet, and I hope that we get that throughout the entire organization going forward. It has been very encouraging for most of these minor league arms.
I think it's impressive that they've put up these great numbers while Michael Tonkin had 2 blow-up outings. So, even with him coming in here just being absolutely terrible twice, a bunch of runs, they still overall have like those great ERA numbers, which is what I love. I love ERA. But I think a lot of it does go to David Stearns. I give him the most credit. I think that, when you look at that list in National League, like the Mets are number 1. You know who's number 2? Milwaukee Brewers. I think that this is kind of what Stearns just does. He finds arms, makes the most out of them, makes, a pitching lab, what have you. One thing that's encouraging to me is that I think that, as the season progresses, if guys get sent down, released, whatever, from other organizations, I think if Stearns sees some other guys he likes, I feel like he's going to bring them on board as well and just continue. And I don't think it's going to come to that point like we've seen it, like you said, in years past, where it's like we are stuck with certain guys. Like, they're here, we have no one else.
He doesn't have any minor league options, so we might as well chill with him.
No minor league options. They were a banker. They were a whatever. Like, we're going to get someone from the Ducks. Like, I don't think that's going to happen this time around. I feel like they're actually just going to go with much more of a quantity approach, that they will have other arms that they like, that they could just, as you've seen, they bring this guy up. Okay, now they bring this guy up. And like, and we'll see, like Reed Garrett, I hope he is like amazing. That would be huge. I think if we could just get like one guy to be like high leverage, like big time reliever, that would be amazing, because so far he's been really impressive in those multi-inning outs. I do worry, though, like Rod was saying, if he's not a multi-inning reliever, I don't want them to burn him out and then middle of the season the guy, because we've seen them do that with some relievers. I think the one that comes to mind is like Robert Gazelman. He was off to a good start, and then the Mets just worked him so bad that he was just done by the time it was all said and done. I don't want to see like the Seth Lugo effect. Like, I want them to just like break him down because he's been so good. I hope they could, like Rod said, like find a legitimate role for him. But I think just, seeing all these guys come up, and like we said, we have more guys on the way. It's a lot to be encouraged by. And, that's how you get through the 162 and stay in the playoff race, is that you're going to use a lot of arms. With rain, with injuries, like you're going to see a lot of different guys. So the Mets having this at their disposal is just going to be absolutely vital to making a real playoff push.
And that's what I mean with this pitching depth. You just don't really seem, you don't really seem to be like, oh, this guy's going to be the odd man out. This guy stinks. He's going to get a conglomerate of opportunities. If this guy's on the fringe of the roster and he doesn't perform, it's not going to take much to take him out. And that's what I've really liked Stearns so far. And then also, it also seems like in terms of pitching with Stearns, what he's done so well, the quantity approach has just been so much better as compared to the quality, because it doesn't seem like, well, this guy gets injured, we're done. We're bleeding forever. It always seems like there's a next man up. There's a next guy that he likes, the next guy that he plugs in there. And that is what's very encouraging with David Stearns. And hopefully he gets a little bit more flexibility to do that, with more of a financial bound as compared to Brewers, where you're a bottom 5 payroll.
And that's important because every GM likes their wild card reliever guys. Most of them don't work out. So to have a lot of them and keep giving him a chance, you're more likely to find the one that actually is something.
The top-heavy approach has definitely been something that's gone on with the Mets organization for a long time. Their stars have blown up before. They've had their struggles before, and that's happened, and then they just completely bleed, and it's basically end of time for them in that certain situation. And so when you have just a number of guys that come through that you have made better and you don't make worse, and don't stay the same as they were. That's something that Stearns has been known to do. And then also, if they don't, they're on the fringe of the roster. Doesn't take much to kick them out.
Instead of giving Dylan Betances a 2-year deal and Jerry's Familia a 3-year deal at high AAV, it's like, let's just get a bunch of arms. This way we just constantly call up, send down, and you're okay. Compared to like, oh, well, we signed these guys. We have nobody else now.
There's no risk. There is no risk.
Exactly.
Only reward. No risk, only reward. Same thing with Julio Teheran. They gave him a major league deal, prorated, non-guaranteed contract. Oh, well, he stunk? Get out of here. We don't have to pay you. Get the hell out of here. You want your release? Have fun. I was kind of surprised as to see that Julio Teheran actually signed that contract, but you know what? Not my issue.